Hello, in front of me I have REALME Narzo 30 and I'm gonna show you a few tips and tricks you can use on this device. First, let's open the settings. To do it, swipe upwards on the screen, scroll down and tap on the settings icon. In settings, let's tap on the personalizations first. Now let's tap on allow to allow the permission for storage. And here we have a few things. Here we can customize how our system will look like. And we have wallpapers, icon styles, app layout, colors, font and display size, and notification drawer. Let's tap on wallpapers first. Here basically we can change the wallpaper. And we can select static wallpapers or live wallpapers, depending what you want. Static ones are basically static, the image doesn't move. The live ones are animated and image moves on the wallpaper. For example, I'm gonna select live wallpapers. Now, here we have the list of available wallpapers on our phone. Select the one you like and tap on it, or rather tap it to select it. And here we have this button, set as, tap on it. And right here we have two options, home screen and lock screen. Basically, you're selecting where do you want to set the wallpaper on. So if you want to set it on home screen only, select home screen option. If you want to set it on home screen and lock screen, both, select the second option. I'm gonna select the first one. And now when I go back to home screen, as you can see, the wallpaper changed and it's animated, it moves. Okay, let's go back to the personalizations. Next option is icon styles. Here basically we can customize how the icons will look like. We have a little tip how to select the icons. And right here we can customize how the icons will look like. We have four different styles of icon. We have default, material style, pebble, and custom. If you select the style of icons, you can also customize the size of the icons, like this. Then app name, like that. And if you select custom, for example, you can also customize the shape of the icons. Select the shape, the size of the image on the icon, the foreground, and the icon size, of course, and the app name, so the text below the icon. And once you're done, simply go back. I'm just gonna select default and go back. Next we have app layout, and here basically we can customize how the apps will be placed on our home screen, and we can add or remove the columns like this. So if you remove the columns, you can see that the apps will be placed like this instead of like in the row, because you have like less columns. You can also add and remove the rows if you want to, like that. Basically you can customize how your apps will look on the home screen rather. Okay. Next we have colors, and here we can change the colors of the icons and stuff like that. So if I select, by default rather, we have the quick panel which has blue icons, and in settings the icons have different colors. So if I open the settings, the icons are, most of them have different colors. As you can see, there is like categories, and they're colored by categories. Oh, let's say it like that. But here we can change it. We have color schemes. Basically, we have different schemes of colors, so different things will be colored differently. So if I select, for example, pink and apply it, my quick panel will be also in pink. The settings will be in pink, but I believe different things like messages should be colored differently. But I can't show it to you now. But basically, the gist of it is that schemes have more than one color, as you can see here in preview, and single colors If you select single color right here at the bottom, basically everything will be this color. So if you select red and apply it, the quick panel will be red and the icons in the menu will be red also. That's the gist of it. I'm gonna select the default and apply it. Next we have font and display size rather. Here we can customize how the text on our phone will look like. We have previews, as you can see. You can swipe left and right here to change the preview. And below we have a few options. We can select the type of font. As you can see, there's a difference between them. And once you select the type of font, you can change the font weight. So basically, you can make it why can't I adjust it? Oh, because the auto adapt option was enabled. Okay, now I can adjust it. You can basically change the font weight, how it looks like. It's basically like using the bold option in Word. It makes the font more, I don't know, fat. Let's say it like that. Next we have font size. So basically this is changing the font size. And then we have display size. This changes the size of display. So basically if you have something like text messages, the change of the frame around the text will change the size rather. It's gonna be like more zoomed in into screen. Okay, and once you're done, of course, tap on apply to apply your settings. I'm gonna revert it to default like that. And last option right here in personalizations is notification drawer. And here basically we can customize the shape of icons. We can select different shapes. So if you select something like this and open the quick panel, the icon shape will change. Okay, let's go back to settings. And now next thing I want to show you is basically how to change the refresh rate of the screen. To do it, tap on display and brightness option, scroll down, select more, and here select screen refresh rate. And right here we can change the refresh rate of our screen. The default option is selected auto select, and this option, what it does is basically it's gonna set the refresh rate for the app, for each app differently. So some apps have 90, some apps have 60 depending on the app. Next we have 90 Hz, and this is if you select this option, it's gonna basically set the 90 Hz on your phone, and it's gonna be using 90 Hz for everything. And if you select 60 Hz, it's gonna use the 60 Hz for everything. If you like to save your battery, basically you don't use as much power on your phone while you're using it, you can select 60. It's gonna save you more power in the process, because less refresh rate or lower the refresh rate, the less battery it's gonna be using. I prefer to use 90 Hz because the screen is smoother when it's on 90 Hz, of course, but that depends if you like to charge your phone more often or not. Okay, let's go back. Now I'm gonna show you how to customize the icons on the status bar. To do it, scroll down, select the notification and status bar option. Here, scroll down and select status icons. And right here we have some things we can enable or disable. Basically, we can enable or disable the icons on status bar right here. So if I enable Bluetooth, airplane mode, and that should be all for now. If I enable those, as you can see, we have quite a few icons right here. And let's say you don't want to see them. You can, for example, disable the battery. It's gonna disappear. Airplane mode, Bluetooth, and NFC right here. And as you can see, the status bar is empty. You can disable all of them if you don't want to have anything on your status bar, or you can just enable all of them depending what you like. You can customize it to your preferences. Okay, let's go back to settings. Now let's scroll down and tap on convenience tools. And here we have a couple of things. We can use. First, we have navigation, and here we can customize how are we gonna be able to navigate our system. We have two options: swipe gestures from both sides and virtual buttons. The virtual buttons are the default option, and they're selected by default. And basically, what this does, it gives you 3 buttons at the bottom of the screen, and you can use them to navigate your system. You have a back button, home button, and recent apps button. And what we can customize this, basically we can enable or disable the option to pull down to enter one-handed mode. If you enable this option and you are in the portrait mode, you can swipe down on the screen right here at the bottom of the screen like this to enter the one-handed mode. And what this mode does is basically it shrinks the screen, and it's easier to use your phone with only one hand, right? You can also right here move the screen around. If you're left-handed, you can move it to other side like this by tapping this icon right here. And if you want to close this one-handed mode, simply tap on this icon right here like that. Okay, let's disable this. Next thing we can do with the buttons, we can basically change the layout. By default, we have a back button on the right side, home in the middle, and recent apps on the left. But you can change it so the recent apps are on the right, home button in the middle, and back button on the left if you like to. Like this. Next option of navigation, besides the virtual buttons, is swipe gestures from both sides. You can select it. And now we can use the gestures to navigate our phone. So basically you don't have this bar with the buttons at the bottom. Now to go back, you swipe from the edge of the screen to the middle, like this. The arrow will appear right here, and when you release it, it's gonna go back like that. To go home screen, you simply swipe upwards from the bottom of the screen like that. And to open the recent apps, you swipe upwards and hold in the middle for a second or two, like this. We can also customize this. We have again option to pull down to enter one-handed mode, so you can enable it and swipe down on the screen to enter the one-handed mode. Here we have a tutorial. You can watch it if you want to, or use it or go through it basically to learn how to use the gestures. Next we have hide gesture bar or gesture guide bar. This is the bar right here. You can hide it by enabling this option. You can also enable the option to vibrate on back navigation. So if you enable this and go back, the phone will vibrate. Next we have switch to previous app, and this allows you to basically switch to previous app by swiping inward from the left or right edge and hold to switch the previous app. So basically you swipe inward, hold, and we don't have any previous app, so it won't change. But let's open, for example, Google Play. Now hold, and it's gonna switch to settings like that. And at the bottom we have option called Mistouch Prevention, and we can enable it or disable it. This option basically prevents you or tries to prevent you to misuse of the back button while you're using different apps like games and stuff like that, so you won't exit them by mistake. And you can enable or disable this option. Okay, let's go back to navigation, enable the virtual buttons. Next we have gestures and motions. We can tap on it, and here we have a couple of things. Basically we can tap on screen of gestures, enable it, and here we can enable a couple of things like double tap to turn screen on. So if your screen is off, you can double tap it to wake it up. Next we have draw O to open the camera. So if the screen is turned off, you can draw on it to enable the camera up like this. Then we have draw V to turn on flashlight. If the screen is off, you can draw V to turn on the flashlight. And of course you can draw it again to turn it off, I believe. Oh no, for some reason it doesn't turn off, so let's turn it off. Oh no, it does if you unlock the screen, my bad. And next we have music controls. If you enable this, you can basically draw the pause like this, I believe, to pause these songs, this symbol to go to next, this symbol to go back, and that's it basically. We have also more category, and here we have add gesture. We can tap on it, and here we can basically add our own gesture. And we have a couple of actions we can perform. For example, we have draw this symbol, slide up, slide down, slide left, slide right, draw M or W. For example, I'm gonna select draw M, and here we have a few things we can assign for this action. We can unlock, call, and start an app. If you select start an app, you can basically open the app by drawing M. So let's say I want to open Netflix by drawing M on the screen. So if I lock the screen, draw M, it's gonna open the Netflix app like this. And you can also select different apps or any action right here. Okay, let's disable those. Go back. Here we have in the gesture and motions, we have more settings like swipe down with 3 fingers to take a screenshot. You can enable it or disable it. And what this option does is basically you can take a screenshot by swiping down with 3 fingers on the screen like this. And you can disable it or enable it. And next option is touch and hold with 3 fingers to take a screenshot. So basically you can touch and hold, and after you hold it long enough, you will see this. And basically you can take a screenshot only of the part of the screen like that. Okay. And you can also, of course, enable or disable this option. Below we have motions, and we have options like rise to wake. If you enable this, the screen is locked. You can raise the phone to unlock it like this. Next option is auto ear pickup calls. So if somebody is calling you and this option is enabled, you can pick up your phone to your ear and it should automatically answer the call. Next option is auto switch to ear receiver rather, and basically it's gonna switch automatically from speaker to receiver when the phone is held near your ear. And last option is flip to mute incoming calls. So basically you can flip your phone, I believe, like this to mute the incoming calls. Okay. Next option in the convenience tools is screenshot, and here we can customize how to take screenshots on our phone. And we have a few things. We can enable option to delete the original image after editing. So for example, if you take a screenshot, edit it right after you take the screenshot, the original image will be removed after you're done editing the thing, and you save your edit. Next option is screenshot sound. So basically you can disable it if you don't want to hear the sound while you take a screenshot, because if it's enabled, you hear this click. Now we have preview window location. This basically changes where this preview thing shows on the screen. So if you take a screenshot, you have this preview thing right here, and you can change the location or the left or right side. And here we have, of course, methods, and we can enable or disable the 3 finger swipe down option. This one, we can disable it. So now if I swipe down on the screen with 3 fingers, nothing will happen. 3 finger touch and hold, you can also disable it, this one, right? And if you disable it, it won't happen. And last option, this could be useful for some people. It is useful for me, because I often press my power button and volume down button together and take a screenshot by mistake when I hold my phone, and I prefer to disable this option. And now when I press these buttons, the screenshot won't be taken. It's quite useful. Okay. Next option is screen recording, and here basically we can customize the options for the screen recording feature. We can change, we can enable or disable the sounds for it, like this, by tapping the switches next to sound. We can change the video resolution of recording. We have high, medium, low, and custom. Next we have frame rate of the recording, and we can select dynamic, 30 frames, 24 frames, and 15 frames. Select the one you like, of course. Let's select the dynamic. Next we have video coding, and here we have smaller video sizes or best compatibility, and select we can select any one of them. Next, we have front camera, and here we can enable the front camera. So basically, if you enable this option, the screen will be recording, and also it's gonna be recording the front camera output. And at the bottom, you have show touch screen touches. So basically, if you're recording the screen and touch on it, you will see this dot on the place you touched, and you can disable this so the dot won't appear when you touch the screen. Okay, now we have, or the next option we have is smart sidebar. Here you can tap and customize this smart sidebar right here. Basically, we have this bar right here on our phone. You can open it by swiping right here left on this thing on the right side. You can barely see it, but it's here, and you can swipe left on it to open it. You can also reposition it by swiping and holding on it, and then you can move it around like that. And once you open the bar, you can, as you can see, we have a couple of things. We have settings, screenshot, record the screen, screen translate, file manager, calculator. We have also a plus button to add more things or remove. And I believe this is the recent app opened. Let's go back to settings and convenience tools, sidebar. And here, basically, we can customize this option. We can enable it or disable it. So if you don't want to have it, you can disable it. If you enable it, you can make it more transparent, more visible, as you can see. You can also enable the option to hide the floating bar on full screen apps. So if the apps are in the full screen, you won't see this thing right here. And you can also disable the option or enable it to see or show the recent used apps. So like when I opened it, we had the Netflix thing right here, but if you disable this, the Netflix will disappear, as you can see. And to customize this bar, you can also open it, tap on the plus button right here, and you can add and remove the functions. For example, you can remove the screen translate, and you can add recorder. You can go to apps and add some apps, for example, music, like that. And once you're done, tap done. And now you can tap on music, for example, to open the music app. Quite useful thing if you like to move fast around your phone. Okay. Oh, my bad. And last thing in the convenience tools is split screen. This is quite a useful thing if you want to use two apps at the same time on the screen. And here we can customize how to use it. Basically, we can enable or disable the split screen as the whole thing. And here we can also enable or disable the option to enter the split screen by swiping upwards with 3 fingers on the screen. So basically like this. And if you swipe upwards, you're gonna enter the split screen and the app you were using before. So the settings. So let's say you want to enter the split screen with 2 apps. First, you need to open one, for example, Chrome. Then you need to swipe upwards like this to enter the split screen mode. Now the Chrome is at the top, and now you can either open the app right here from the home screen or app menu, or you can tap on recent apps button to open the app from the recent apps menu like this. And as you can see here, we have 2 apps on the screen, and we can use them like this. Oh, something happened. You can also enter the split screen by pressing and holding on the recent apps like this. And again, you can then tap on recent apps to open the settings, for example. And I believe you can also enter the split screen by opening the recent apps menu, tapping on this icon right here, and tapping on split screen to enter the split screen mode, and then open the app that you want to use in it. Remember that not every app supports the split screen mode, so not every app will be able to open in it. Also, you can resize the ratio of the app on the screen, like that. So if you, for example, want to have Chrome to take most of the space on the screen, and settings only small space, you can resize it like that. And to close the split screen, simply you can either grab this bar and swipe to the bottom of the screen to close it, or you can also let me open settings. You can also tap on the recent apps button and no, not like that. There should be like this X button on the screen, so you can close it, but for some reason it doesn't appear. Weird. Anyway, sometimes this X button appears right here on this border, and you can tap it to close the split screen. Okay, but normally you just simply swipe up or down depending which app you want to close it. Okay, let's go back to settings, and that's about all in the convenience tools. And last thing I want to show you is pop-up window. So it's basically something like split screen, but not really. You can open the apps in the pop-up window. To do it, open the app, open then recent apps menu, tap on this icon right here to open the menu, and we have two options. We have floating window and mini window. If you select floating window, the app will shrink and it's gonna be like this in this small little window. And now you can use something else like settings, for example, and the browser will be here visible, and you can see what's happening on this window. So for example, you could watch videos while using something else. And to make it bigger, you can simply tap on this window to expand it. And you can move this floating window around by pressing and holding on this bar right here. And to close the floating window, simply tap on the X button like that. Next option is the menu window. This is basically the same as floating window, but it's smaller. You can also press and hold on this window to enter the quick actions, and for this mini window we have only close. So if you press and hold and drag it on this X button, it's gonna close the menu window. And for the floating window, you have more actions. You can press and hold on it like this, and you have close, mini, and expand full screen like this. Okay, and that should be all. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please consider subscribing to our channel and leaving the like on the video.